welcome back. Hope you all had a good Christmas. Happy Christmas. This is my belated Christmas gift to you. I never really wanted to go into doing a podcast because let's face it, there's so many around. But I guess through doing the questions, I was sticking my toe into it and it was inevitable. And who better to have a good chat with than a man who's probably in a lot of our comments, a man who is relentless in commenting on your videos and encouraging you to do more. I think a lot of us appreciate his effort of always commenting on the videos, always putting videos out. So this was my way to thank him. I'd like to welcome for an hour special Adventures in Skateboarding at 40 plus. Let me reinstate, this is an hour long, so this is probably one you're going to put on in the background. I don't expect anyone to sit there and look at my stupid face for an hour. So I hope you enjoy. Take it away. Is this thing on? It is on. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome, Skateboarding at 40 plus. Welcome.
How's it going? Wait, is this thing on? It is on. I don't have a beer because it's 7 a.m. Is this thing on? Oh, yeah, Mickey's on.
Nice.
Got some good coffee this morning.
Dude, welcome. So,
my name is Tony. On Monday, I turn 44, and I am located in North Carolina, United States of America. I've only been to the UK once. I lived in Germany for 3 years in the 90s, but I was flying somewhere in 2007 and I landed at London Heathrow, and I just took my ticket straight to the counter. I was like, hey, I got a 6-hour layover. I need you to turn that into like a 36-hour layover. And I jumped on a train, went down to Soho, met a million great new friends, got tattooed.
no way. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if you can see this with the virtual backgrounds.
Yeah.
So there's a bookmark right here with a London Rose on it.
Nice.
The rest of my tattoos are like chapters of my life, and since that was just a layover, I did a bookmark.
Nice.
So
What did you think
I was
of?
like,
Oh, well, you know, like it's obviously a massive city like New York, so I'm sure you couldn't see everything in 6 hours, but I'm sure you got a.
no,
I'm
I was
sure
there 36. I was there
36.
20,
Sorry, yeah.
24 hours on the ground. The rest of the time I was at the airport, but in 24 hours, got the hotel, went out and had some beers, rode in a really cool, cab because you guys got the old school cars down there.
Yep.
And I was really impressed with that, and just had a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
it was not a bad day.
Yeah. That's the black cabs and kind of like record stores. They're still around, but with Uber and that, because the whole thing with the black cab is they have to do the knowledge, which is basically memorizing the whole of London, like all the
Yeah.
streets and everything. And obviously with Uber coming in, like they don't need to do the knowledge. So if you get a black cab in London, it's like getting a ride in like an institution, because these people basically,
Yeah.
if you're in England, you'll see people in London, you'll see people riding around on scooters with maps, and that's them doing that, like revising for their
Okay.
tests. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, at least I got that experience,
Yeah. And you had a couple pints, obviously, when you say
I
drinks.
did have a couple pints, and
Nice.
like I said, I met a million cool people. Like, it was a good time. It's this. So I am not a creative guy. I have no musical skill, no artistic skill, no skateboarding skill, no editing skill, no filming skill. This is the most creative thing I've ever done in my life, and I didn't start till I was 41. Didn't know. I had just started skating on my 41st birthday. So next week will be three years. I just realized I needed a hobby and needed an outlet, and I had a cruiser board, and I was like, wow, man, let me go see if I can get an ollie. And I just kind of kept going every day for like 30 days, just trying to get a good rolling ollie. And I eventually got it, and I made a short video to send my wife. She was living here in North Carolina, and I was in Texas at a 11-month long school, and living in an RV, which is amazing. Everyone should go live in an RV. And made the video, and I wanted to send it to my wife. It's too big, so I was like, oh, I'll just put it on YouTube, and you can just watch it there. And I didn't know how to use YouTube. I didn't know you could make things private. I didn't know you could just send a link. And so I just put it out there. It's just me ollieing up a block. There's like 4 little 5-second clips. They're like the first videos on my channel, and people started clicking on them and like giving advice and encouragement. And I was like, who are these people, man? So I'm like, I still don't know how to use YouTube. I'm just clicking on their name, and it's taking me to their channels, and I find this huge group of 40 to 60-year-olds that are kind of going through the same process. And I'm like, man, that's cool. I'm going to make videos too. And started watching John Hill and all the ones you're supposed to watch, right? And thought I was supposed to do vlogs later. So I was like, I'm going to be a creative vlogger. And then I quickly realized you don't just vlog. Like, you got to script that. You've got to plan it outside a bunch of like way too long, just random stupid videos of skateboard vlogging. And I was like, this isn't working. So I got to find a different way to get after this. And then I was like, oh, I can just do voiceover. So I started filming everything and then just coming home and editing it together and then just doing a voiceover of what happened through the day. I was like, oh, that kind of works. But then I felt like disconnected from the viewers. So I was watching this guy. I don't know if you ever watch him, Two Let Mafia. He does rap music video reviews on YouTube.
I've seen that.
But he does, like, he's got a green screen in the background, and he's sitting in front of the video, and he's talking about the lyrics
Right.
and all that. And I was like, oh man, that's a good way to do reaction videos. I was like, how do you make a green screen? At this point, I'm in Korea, and so I Google like how to make a green screen. Find out it doesn't even have to be green. I go to the store and I buy like 9 pieces of construction paper and 3M it to the wall behind me. And then I'm messing with my computer. Like, I use Filmora for editing because it's super cheap, and I'm not smart enough for Adobe because, again, not an artist. So I figure it out in Filmora. It's like, oh man, it works. And so I was like, well, I'll just make my videos that way. So I'd go out and I'd just film everything. I'd come home, I'd edit the video together and kind of figure out what the day was about in the editing process and just kind of think about it. And then the first time I watch my videos back is me on the green screen that you're watching when you watch my videos.
Sweet. Yeah.
It's a one take, unscripted. You get what you get. I don't have time to do it again. So it's a one take wonder. And that's how I kind of came up with my creative way of doing skateboard videos. I don't see anyone else doing it. And it works for me because the motto I kind of live by is my skateboarding's not good enough to not have a narrative. The tricks do not speak for themselves. I have to tell the story that go with them. And that kind of comes back to where we're at. Like, that's the most creative thing I do. I'm not a creative guy. I'm a very process oriented guy with everything has to have a standard and a process and a checklist. That's the kind of guy I am.
I think it's interesting because there's like a couple things there, like to be, because I'm 41, but like, yeah, to like start skating is one thing, but then also to like put yourself out there and get into vlogging and stuff. I mean, like, people our age, like, first of all, they kind of like, aren't you too old to skate? But secondly, they'll be like, you're too old to learn a new technology, just like your story about like green screen and stuff. And I think it's an important lesson for people. Like, the process is awesome. Like, I've learned so much in these last couple years, and like, it's just real fun. I haven't had like anything negative. Maybe once there was some weird dude at the skate park who recognized me from YouTube, but then at the same breath was like, oh, I just skate for myself. And I was like, well, good for you, but whatever, man.
Like, I've never had anyone recognize me, so that's kind of cool. But the whole thing is, I'm a 41-year-old skate, or 44, almost 44-year-old skateboarder now. Like, I don't have a bunch of peers in
Yeah.
my work life that are picking up a skateboard. Like that's not happening. So like the YouTube skate community is kind of, it's become my skate crew. Like those are the people I skate with, even though they're not with me. But I go out and I push hard and try and learn some tricks and come back and share it with this community. And that's become my skate crew. If we're gonna rise with the technology, then let's use it to connect. I mean, how many people in our little YouTube skate crew are from all over the world? You know,
Yeah.
Australia, UK, Germany, United States, Canada. I mean, it's awesome. And how else would you have that opportunity to connect with so many different people if we weren't doing this? And I don't know. It works for me. Like, is it weird to create a YouTube channel just for the purpose of creating a YouTube channel? Like, don't monetize, don't advertise.
Yeah.
Like, I just make videos and I just share them and see what happens. And it's super interesting. You know, some things you think are going to be really good, nobody watches. And some
Yeah.
things you think nobody's going to
I
watch
love
becomes
it.
your biggest video. My biggest video is a video I filmed when at the start of the quarantine, I just needed to get outside. Skate parks were closed and everything. And I just sat in a lawn chair and put together a skateboard with some very different parts, you know, different stuff I'd never used. And I was like, nobody's going to watch a 24-minute video of me putting this video or putting this board together. And it's my only video to go over 3,000 views. And it did it in a very short period of time. Who knows? You never know what's going to stick.
Yeah, I find it kind of interesting as well because it's like you said, you're very like process orientated, self-acclaimed, not very creative. But I don't know, you're putting some creative stuff out there. But I'm like from the other end. I've been skating since I was like 10 years old, like since like 86 or something. I can't even
Yeah.
place it because I got into it because of my brother. So
Yeah.
it's just always been there. And then also I've been like more on the creative things, making music. But then it was interesting because yeah, a couple years ago, like all the people I was in bands with like started starting families and stuff, and it was just like
Yeah.
I was just like, man, the music thing was fun, and just like a bit bummed out on that. And then I found I just started skating again. I always skated, but skated with more purpose to shoot a
Yeah.
video to share on social media. And then I started going, well, I need to. People are struggling for like soundtracks, and I know how to make my own stuff. So then I started getting out all the old music gear, and
Yeah.
now it's progressed to this week or a couple of days ago where I've done a live stream of making a song, and it's just awesome.
Yeah,
It's just
especially with YouTube, like music is such a hard part of it. Like, and when you can make your own music, you've changed everything because getting music for your channel without getting copyrighted or that's incredibly challenging. And it adds to the video. And when you
yeah,
can't have the right music, it takes away from the video. Luckily, I'm talking my whole time of my video, so my music isn't super affected. But man, having the best, like if I could use Bad Religion and Rancid and House of Pain and shit like that on my videos, man, I'd be so excited, you
nice.
know. But just can't do it. But like I said, like so skateboarding's always been a part of my life. I just didn't do it. So I grew up in San Diego, California, and everyone skated. It was the 80s, you know.
Yeah,
Everyone had a board. Everyone skated. You know, I had my Nash board. I had the old Kmart board with the rising sun on it, kind of like a fake Hosoi looking board. Um, Started getting my first pro boards were Sims, and my last pro board was Tony Hawk's Claw board, which I was able to rebuy when I first started skateboarding.
I remember that
And
one.
then I lost that board, and that was kind of the end of it because like we didn't have the money to go out and get another board. I mean, a board back then cost almost as much as a board does now, but the pay was a lot less. So I was like, well, I guess that's kind of over. Plus, I don't know how it was for you in the UK, but in the United States, you kind of had a choice in 89, 90. You could be a skateboarder or you could be an athlete. It was not okay to be both. And I was an athlete. I chose to be an athlete, and you weren't going to skate and be an athlete. So I went down the athletic route, but skateboarding, I grew up in the same neighborhood as, Willie Santos, down the street from, Tony Hawk. I mean, skateboarding is deep in my
Yeah,
culture
yeah, yeah, yeah.
of just growing up. I've always been around it, always loved it. And then 2006, came back from a combat tour, and I just needed a hobby, and I wanted to do something. I really didn't know what to do, and went to local skate shop just to watch the kids skate. There was a skate park inside there, and they had on the wall an old uh, skull and sword, Pal Peralta, and I was like, oh man, that's so cool. It's like an '80s board, and so I bought that and just was just rolling around, and then tried to get my kids into skating, so I bought them boards, and they didn't really bite, but like it kind of planted a bug in me where I just kind of kept pushing along a little bit. Didn't learn any tricks, just pushing. I could ollie at that point over a couple boards, but that was it,
Yeah.
and then life got in the way again. When went back to Afghanistan, actually did skate in Afghanistan with a buddy, Mike of mine. I don't know if you ever saw the video I made, veteran story with Mike.
I did watch that actually. I thought that was really awesome. Like,
It's probably the best video I'll ever make, like
yeah,
no question.
as we get into YouTube, you start thinking of what more you can do, and I really enjoyed that. Anything that's honest and true, like, will always be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Mike's a great story. Like, we served together in 2007, and he should have been out of the army. They kept him in to go to Afghanistan, and we both packed boards and didn't know it. So in our duffel bags with all our crap, we both got skateboards in there. And 5, 6 months in the tour, we're in the middle of nowhere, Afghanistan. I just look at my boss. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go outside and roll around, or I'm gonna lose my shit. And I grabbed my board and I went to this little piece of concrete in the middle of nowhere, Afghanistan, and I was just rolling around, And Mike comes out and he's like, "Oh man, we can skate." And I was like, "I don't know if you can skate. I know who I work for, and as long as I keep doing work for him, I can skate." And he grabbed his board. Next thing you knew, within like a month, there was like 6 dudes had boards sent out there, and we had
no
a
way.
little group of people in the middle of Afghanistan just rolling around. And came home from that tour. Life got in the way again. Didn't touch skateboard for 10 years, easy. That was 2007. Yeah. So then, but it always was as me. So I'm like, I'm reading Mullen's books. I'm watching videos. Like I'm fully immersed in it culturally. Like I really know I enjoy it. I just haven't committed time to it. And I haven't made it important. And then when I found myself in Texas with nothing to do but go to school, I was like, man, I need a hobby. Like I need something outside of work. Um, or again, I'm going to lose my shit or drink too many beers. And nobody with 7 combat tours probably needs to sit in an RV and drink a bunch of beers. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna skate and see what happens. And this is where we're at. And I think the weird lesson, not lesson, but like value out of it is I was drinking as an activity when I was there. It's kind of like part of the day. But when I started skating, like that kind of went away, and the drinking became the beverage and not the activity. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah. Totally.
So,
Yeah.
like now, the only time I have a beer is honestly when I'm editing video. So if I go 2 months without a video, I go 2 months without a beer probably. I only try a new beer and have that beer when I'm making the video, because it honestly makes life inconvenient in the U.S. If you have a drink here and there, you're not going anywhere.
Mm.
You're gonna lose your career. You're gonna cause yourself some problems. So the drinking has definitely gone away quite a bit just since skateboarding.
Yeah, I definitely think, yeah, like, mental health has come into the forefront, and I definitely think, like, yeah, I always try to tell people, like, I'm lucky, like, I've had music and skateboarding my whole life, but a lot of people
Yeah,
don't have, I like to call it just the X factor. You just need to find something that's yours, like
absolutely.
badminton, chess, checkers, I don't care, but
Yep.
just have your thing. And
That was
yeah,
kind of the premise. That was kind of the premise for the start of the channel. It wasn't supposed to be about skateboarding. Skateboarding was the method. What
yeah,
the channel is supposed to be about is, hey, go do something for yourself. Whatever it is, like Mike talked about in the video, whether it's art or working on cars or whatever it is, go do those things. But you have to have time for yourself in your 40s, or you will lose yourself.
yeah. Well, you'll just get lost at the bar. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, I like a good drink like everybody, but I like to quote the guy from the Wu Tang. I was watching him on Joe Rogan, the RZA, and he's like, "I like to drink to celebrate." So you do
Yeah.
some stuff, and then once you've gone through the process, you crack a beer and you go, "Good job."
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's right at the end. It's not like you
Yeah.
said the activity. It's like, you
Yep.
know, when you're doing your editing, you're like, "Awesome, I
Yeah.
deserve this." So yeah,
Right. Because my editing process, man. So this is the math for me because again, I don't know what I'm doing. For every 1 minute of video costs me altogether an hour and a half of editing. So from the time I sit down and start going through the clips
yeah,
to the time it's fully posted and ready is an hour and a half per minute.
I bet.
So first I have to go through all the clips, and skateboarding happens in a half a second at a time. So you're going through a million clips, putting it together, synchronizing it, putting the video, putting the music, putting the text, and then I build that video, and then I still have to do the green screen part, and then I have to put all that together and add any other additional things I found along the way. Then I have to build those two videos together, and then I have to do
Yeah.
all the stupid YouTube stuff to upload that nobody has a clue about that doesn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing you know, man, like a 6 to 8 minute video can cost me 16 hours, like
Yeah.
no question. And I don't know. I don't sleep when I do it. If I make a video, there's no sleep that night. Like that's what I gave up.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. You know, I take it, yeah, you know, it seems to be normally doing it like later in the evening. I've always been like super early
Yeah.
person, so I'm the weirdo like up at 5 in the morning editing or
Yeah.
something. But
Yeah. I'm up at 3 in the morning, or excuse me, on average 4 in the morning, out of the house by 4:45, running 6 miles by 6. You know, it's retarded. Uh, 25 years of life
I was just
doing
gonna
that.
say, you say like running 6 miles. I was just gonna add to like, I've found and what I've been working on over lockdown. I've always known I had to do this, especially as I've gotten older. But I've actually been trying to formulate an exercise routine, which I finally got.
Yeah.
And you know, we all don't want to be that guy like Mr. Motivator, as we call them in England or whatever.
Right.
You know, to be like, you know, you should work out, you should do this.
Yeah.
But man, it helps. It
It
helps.
does.
I
It
go
does. It
running
helps.
and I
It
do
helps with your
strength
skating
workouts.
too.
Yeah. So,
Keeps you more flexible, and it prevents injury. If you're doing good workouts each day, whether that's something as yoga if you want, or running or lifting weights, is going to prevent injury in your skateboarding. And I think the goal from each session is to walk away so you can skateboard the next day. So anytime you can stay healthy and safe, like, you do it, and exercise helps with that.
yeah. I
you
think
know
I'd say to anyone listening as well, like, uh, everybody hates exercising. I was getting into this
yeah.
dude David Goggins for a while. He's just crazy, but he was just his whole thing was like, yeah, it totally sucks. Like, get over that. You know,
Yeah.
there's no like, and also he's like, it's never ending because I think a lot of people think, oh, I'll do it for 2 weeks, lose a couple pounds, and
No.
then he's like, no, 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 this is it. It doesn't stop,
No,
basically.
it doesn't stop. It's got to be a lifestyle. Like, I did the vegan thing for 60 days, just to see what effects it had on my body. Amazing effects. Like, I was blown away by it. I lost 25 pounds in like the first 5 weeks. Um, my heart rate went way down on runs, like 30 beats per minute on a fast 2 mile or a long 6 mile. I was like, man, that's crazy. But then I decided I was just going to eat like crap again. But at the start of the year, I think I need to get back into it because it's not a lifestyle thing for me, the veganism, but the small time that I did it, like, the proof was there, and I can't ignore how I felt. The only problem I had is I wasn't getting enough calories in. So
Okay.
by 7 o'clock at night, I was done. Like, there was
Yeah.
not a calorie left to give.
Yeah, I did. I gave up drinking for a month. Similar thing. It was three things basically: finances, weight, and
Yeah.
I've always had like a problem with like my sinuses. Like, can't really smell too good. So
Okay.
the
Probably
finance.
COVID.
Yeah, well, I was saying to everyone, like, I got my sense of smell back, and they're like, COVID? And I'm like, no, this has been for most of my life. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, finances, yeah, obviously you don't spend as much. Weight, zero difference. right?
Yeah.
But the sense
Wow.
of smell came back. So there's definitely like
Nice.
some things going on in here. So I'm just trying to like taper that. But the weight thing was interesting. I was like, okay, you can have a few beers. But what that said to me again was you need to work out more because
Yeah.
it's not the alcohol is not as bad as you thought it was. So you just need to work out a bit more. So yeah,
Yeah.
Monday through to Friday, I'm doing cardio and strength. And I would say to
Nice.
everyone as well, like, just try. And if you fail, try again. Like, everybody goes for like 45 minutes and then like you break yourself and then you're done for a month. But
Right.
again, I was watching
Just
Joe
gotta stick
Rogan.
with it.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was talking to Kevin Smith, that dude, and he was saying, dude, 10 minutes, like 3 times a week. And just gradually, because I think everyone wants to
Yeah.
like hit the gym and go crazy. And it's like, no, no, no,
No.
tiny, tiny, tiny little
Yep.
bits.
The hardest part's just getting out there. It's the same as skateboarding, right? Some days you
Yeah,
don't want to skate, but then you just go skate, and either it works out great or it doesn't, and you pack your shit and go home. But at least you went out there. Because there's some days I'm like, man, it's cold, it's miserable, I'm tired, but I just go to the park. I go with zero intentions. Um, I could skate in my driveway, I could go skate in the streets, but going to the park kind of keeps me focused. Like, oh man, okay, I'm here to skate. Like it's a purposeful thing. That's why I like park skating. But yeah, sometimes just get out the door. That's the hardest part,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I try think whenever I have to exercise. So basically, normally my routine is basically wake up, 10-minute meditation. When I say a meditation, I just mean sit quietly for 10 minutes and
Yeah.
close your eyes in a not sleeping in an upright position.
Yeah, I never did
Uh,
that in my life.
like it's yeah, that's like another thing. But I just find it's like a little filing system. It just sometimes things rise to the top and I have to deal with them, and sometimes.
Yeah.
But then after that, do a little 10-minute yoga routine. Then I do normally either arms and chest or back, like weights routine that I just follow
Okay.
someone on YouTube. And then
Yeah.
I'll do some cardio, go for a 1 mile run or something. And then that's me every day, just that little
Nice.
chunk of an hour. And then,
Nice.
yeah, you're like walking around, sort of feeling the arms, like feeling strong, like, this is feeling pretty
Yeah.
good, you
And
know?
you accomplish something first thing in the morning. It kind of gets the day going,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And then I found in the in the evenings, I'll be like, okay, let's do that edit. Let's try to sort out live recording. Like the productivity seems to carry through mentally.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it's the old body fuels the mind mantra. So, advice I'd give my beginner self, um, man, that's tough. So, I felt like I took it slow. Like I really just worked on one thing at a time. And the first thing was an ollie, right? I think you have to, I think you have to have a good ollie. The advice I give myself is get a better ollie. I don't like my back foot placement still to this day. I don't like the way I pop. And now I have to go back and almost retrain myself to fix that. Because I think it has affected my progression in all other tricks. Because I don't pop correctly. Um, I would definitely not have traveled to a million different parks the first year. I spent more time learning the park than learning tricks, if that makes any sense. Because I had like my five, what I called traveling tricks. I can do these tricks. And I would just go to different parks from Texas to Korea, everywhere. And I would just do the same tricks over and over again because I was learning how to do them on a new obstacle. So still challenging, still fun, but there was almost no progression because I was too busy learning the obstacle or learning the park. I think having if you really want to like learn how to skateboard, I think having a go-to park, kind of like motocross, right? If you go to a motocross track and you do the same track over and over again, you're going to learn the track, and then you're going to start to jump higher or go faster and those type of things. I think getting that consistency is super important, and then you can take it to other places and explore that. But I think I would have gone to one park way more consistently. And I definitely would have put a lot more bull riding in at the beginning. I think bull riding is probably the secret to skating into your 60s. And I still have these stupid street dreams, so I don't put the work in I need to. But I really would have liked to attack that more. But in Texas, the bowls were huge. They're massive cement bowls. Like it's a little intimidating when you're first starting to skate. But when I went to Korea, there was these wood bowls, and they were just amazing. And I probably went to it like 5, 6 times in the year. I should have gone every day. Like if I could have learned all that stuff on a low threat wood bowl and then come back here to cement bowls, I think my skate life would be a lot different. And then what does the friends and family think? Well, like the family, like my wife's super supportive. Like boxes show up all the time, and I don't want to say made fun of. I get the funny laugh, like more. You need more, but I don't get harassed. She's very supportive about all of it. She gave me a giant wall in my living room to hang about, I don't know, 20 boards on. I didn't buy the boards to put on the wall. I bought the boards to skate, but man, I've got this little bit of a addiction to skateboard art. And like, oh, I want that board because you're only going to be able to get it for a short period of time. Like they come and they go so fast. So like, oh, I'm going to buy that and skate it. I'm going to buy that and skate it. Well, most of the time I skate PAL flight decks. I'm not going through a board that often.
Yeah.
So then I ended up with a surplus of boards that someday I was going to skate. And I was like, man, I'm never going to skate these. So started just throwing them on the wall. So she's been super supportive. I got older kids. They're in their 20s. Not sure if they're interested in the videos or not. I think they think it's interesting that I do the YouTube thing more than the skateboarding part of it. My daughter's she's about to start a channel for makeup. That's what she's doing in college. Not doing makeup, but the business of starting a makeup company.
Oh, right.
So yeah, she's at a prestigious. I don't want to say prestigious. That sounds stupid, but she's at SCAD, Savannah School of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia, studying to do that. So she's going to start a channel soon. I think she's going to be able to get some of the lessons learned I've had on this part. And then friends, all my friends are, old. They golf, they read, they garden, right? Well, I should say my peers, not really my friends. My friends are tattoo artists and tattoo artists, yeah, and retired dudes. But yeah, most of them think it's pretty interesting. It's not like, oh man, that's stupid, you skate. It's like, you skate? Really? And it's like kind of like a question at first. And then when we talk about it and they understand the why I skate, they totally get it from a behavioral health hobby point of view. They're like, man, yeah, I get that. I'd break my neck, but I get it. So everyone's been pretty supportive overall. I think when it comes to videos, like I think my friends watch just by the view count.
Yeah, I
but
think
they
so
don't
too.
but they don't comment.
Yeah.
Like I'll get like the message or the Facebook message or the text, but they don't. My actual friends don't comment on my videos. All my commenters are viewers out there in the internet's world. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then people at work, they watch. It's pretty funny. People in my position aren't supposed to skate, so I work with a lot of people younger than my kids, and they're like, "You do what?" And they're pretty blown away by that because it's not common in my world.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been interesting, but at the end of the day, I do it for me. Like it's the most important thing I do for myself is to skate, and I think that's what matters. I think that's what the channel's about, and I hope that's what comes through on the channel. Is like I try and keep it real. I try and show the failures. I try and keep it honest. I hope that's what resonates with the people that do watch. It's just my adventure in skateboarding. The channel used to be called Skateboarding Progression at 40 plus. And then I kind of didn't like the idea that I was forcing progression upon myself. I didn't want to get caught up in learning tricks. I wanted to skateboard. That probably sounds stupid. But I think there's a difference between practicing a trick stationary and just, I got the trick and moving on to the next one versus rolling and skateboarding. I never go out with an idea of, I'm going to learn this trick this day. I go out and I skate and I take the trick the session gives me. Like I just throw things around. Like the fakie heel the other day. I was just up in a parking lot doing a flat ground sesh because the park was too crowded. And I was just going through all my flat ground, which is not much, on this big, Chris Miller welcome deck with a 14.75 wheelbase, right? Big, heavy, long board. And I just kept going through all the stuff. And then I went for the fakie ollie. He's like, oh man, the fakie ollie feels really nice on this board. And I've got lots of room. And I was like, well, I can heel flip on a bank right as it starts to stall. I get the heel flip. Like that's comfortable to me. Well, that fakie ollie is that same feeling. You're rolling back, you feel that stall, and then you just flick it. And I was like, man, I think I can get this. And then it felt good. So I just kept going for it. But yeah, I take the trick the session gives me. And that's my skateboarding.
Yeah, taking the trick the session gives you is pretty much bang on as let me call myself elder statesman of skating at this point. I agree. The progression thing can actually like be a bit taxing on you mentally. I've gone to the park a few times. For someone like me who's skated his whole life but is a bit older, I've lost tricks. So I'm trying to get tricks back. And sometimes I'll go on a mission and I don't have that confidence to break through the fear, and it starts to bum me out. So what's happened a lot of times is I'll go with the idea of landing one thing and filming the progression, but then I actually get something completely different.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know where that came from. So sometimes for me, it's almost like I trick myself. It's like, we're going to try this, but then something else comes up. But sort of saying what you said, like the session's going like, oh, you know what? Like, I'll throw something out and they'll be like, that felt pretty comfortable today.
Yeah. Right.
It's interesting. I was going to say, again, as elder statesman, you're either fakie or you're gnarly, you heel flip or you kick flip. So I'm kick flip and I'm fakie.
I'm heel flip and I'm obstacle, right? So I do not do flat ground. I have learned almost every single trick I've learned on an obstacle. For some reason, going up things and down things is way more comfortable to me than flat ground. Like even my ollie. My ollie's terrible flat ground, but it's pretty good on a bank. It's pretty good up to a ledge into a 50-50. I need something else to focus on outside of the trick. And a lot of times when I do learn a flat ground trick, I learn it in a line. So I'll do something simple. I'll do fakie shove it, new trick, something else. And then I'm thinking about the whole line versus the single trick, and it gets my mind off what I'm really trying to learn, and I can kind of see it all the way through, and it helps me that way. So I don't get hyper focused on one thing, and that really helps. I think the obstacle, same with like a 50-50 at the end of the day, what is it? It's a well-placed ollie. You're not doing anything special. You're ollieing and you're landing on a ledge.
Yeah.
That's it. Focusing on the ledge keeps my ollie straight. I'm not doing anything different in my mind with my ollie. But when I do it on flat ground, shoulders turn, lean back, lean forward, I mess it all up. When I do it on a ledge, I'm very focused on the ledge and it keeps me straight and it keeps me centered. So I don't know. I learned better on an obstacle.
Yeah.
And it's more fun.
I'm going to quickly shout out that guy, Sling Skateboards. Man, I love his channel. But yeah, he was asking the question in his last video, like to avoid frustration. And that's normally one of mine, is to put it into a line. Because overthinking is, that's when you do the worst injuries, because you do the bail at the wrong time. Like I always tell people, either commit or like don't commit. If you bail right in the middle. So for example, when people are going to board slide a handrail for the first time, a lot of the times they bail right in the middle and they get sacked. So, but like I was saying to him, that's one of my methods to not get too frustrated, is to try to do it in a line. So you do it in a line, get the buzz from the first trick, don't have too much time to think about the next thing, and you'll normally all start coming off. So
I always feel like better when I slam. I don't know if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
If I'm not slamming, I'm not committing. And when I'm slamming, that means I'm going for it. I don't know why, but like I realized that when I was skating bowls in Korea, I was super comfortable, but I wasn't falling enough, but I also wasn't progressing. So I was walking away fine each day, but
Mm.
there was no sense of achievement at all. But when I just, excuse me, when I go full send and I'm falling, that heel flip video, what I did like 6 times, but it worked.
Yeah.
You're trying to get your feet on that board, and I think that's an important part of it.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, definitely like yeah, that was it. I remember a couple months ago, I was out skating this thing. I'd had a couple beers with the boys, and did this no comply over this thing. The board went primo, and I went flat on my
Oh
back, and I
man,
kind of jumped up, and I was like, yes.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
basically did the same trick straight afterwards, and something else I was a bit too scared to do. I think
yeah.
what happens is your brain goes, "That's the worst that's
It
gonna
wakes you up.
happen. You've done it.
Yeah,
Let's go."
yeah. It takes me 30, 40 minutes at the start of every session just to convince myself, my body, that it's gonna skate. Like I'm not jumping out of the car and doing an ollie. I jump out of the car and do an ollie, like I'm gonna land too far on the nose and I'm gonna fall forward. Like it takes me a minute to like, okay, body, we're gonna do this. And a good fall wakes you up,
Oh,
wakes you up.
definitely.
And
Everybody knows that.
and through this whole process of coming up on 3 years, like I've never taken any crap at a park. Like even when I could do nothing, I learned that as long as I go there and I push hard the whole session, and even when I was just learning that, I just stay at it. Like everyone's gonna be super helpful. It doesn't I don't care if you fall, doesn't care if you look like an ass. As long as you're putting in work, just put in work, and you'll never have a problem at a skate park, and everyone will be super supportive. And man, that's what I do. I go to the park and I skate. I skate for a good 3 to 4 hours every time I get a chance to go, and I skate the entire time. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm gonna yeah, again with the elder statesman card, you really nailed it with put in the work. Like skating's getting ubiquitous. Some people are getting jaded. I don't really care,
Yeah,
but as a skater, I want to see you putting in the work. It's like it's so hard because you don't want to make it exclusive, but it's
yeah,
tough, man. So my friend who I'm in a band with, he started skating and he like broke his wrist like 2 or 3 months in. Yeah, and then a month later he's skating with his cast on. He's committed, and I'm like, you
yeah,
got it, dude. You got the fire in your eyes. And same thing like the girl skater scene. Sometimes people are like hating on like model whatever, but it's like, if I see the same girl like busting her ass on a kickflip, I'm like, you've
yeah.
basically shut me down. I have no argument. I don't care
Right.
what you do after this. You can be like
Yeah.
fashionable on a skateboard, but if you try this kickflip and you bust in your ass, like I've got nothing to say. I've got
Yeah,
nothing,
absolutely.
and that's
Yeah,
all you need. Like,
that's it. Just put in the work. And that's where the joy of skateboarding comes from. Like if everyone could just go out there and get a trick, no one would do it. You know, it would be boring. But the fact that you got to go out there and you have to earn it every single day, you have to learn tricks every single day. Even if you think you have it, you probably
yeah,
don't have it the next day. Hey, I got this today. Doesn't mean I have it tomorrow. Like you got
yeah,
to go earn it every time.
yeah. As the late Jake Phelps said, skateboarding doesn't owe you anything. It's a wheel bite in the rain.
Yeah, yeah. Skateboarding don't care.
Exactly.
It does not care at all.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like, I get it that some people want to be YouTube famous and all that, but uh, I've always been under the belief that if you make the right videos, the right viewers will find you. Um, my videos aren't for everybody, but the people that want to watch them, they're gonna find them. They'll find them on their own. I don't. I'm not gonna invest into this. Then it becomes work, and I'm not in this for work. I'm strictly in this
yeah,
because it's fun. And if I turn it into work, it's going to take away all the fun. And if I'm paying for fucking views, like, what's the point? Like, where's the satisfaction in learning the trick? Where's the satisfaction in editing the video and getting it up if you have fake viewers? Like, I don't even really care about subscribers, dude. I could have 1 million subscribers, but if they're not watching the videos, if they're not commenting, if they're not interacting, who cares? I always call them dead subscribers. I don't want dead subscribers. I want, I want to interact with people in the community. Um, yeah, like I just don't get it. I see people that've got 5,000 subscribers, 10,000 that started around the same time I started.
Yeah.
I'll check on their video. How many comments they got? 4, 5. How many of those comments are about the video? 1. Like, is that real? Like, okay, cool. You got a bunch of subs. Are they really involved in the channel? Are they really involved in what you're doing? I don't see it. And I'd rather have the interaction I have. And fuck, I love my interaction. I've got, like, I can fairly say there's 300 people that are just ride or die down to interact with my channel out of the 1,600 subscribers. On average, I get about 700 views per video right now if I let that video ride about 2 weeks. And I'm going to pick up, 100 or so comments of just awesome people with really something to say. Not, hey, good video, let me be your YouTube friend. No, people like, hey man, your shoulders are jacked. I'm like, thank you for telling me my shoulders are jacked. Like, or hey, do this. Okay, I'm gonna try that. Like, I appreciate the interaction, but that's what I'm in it for. Like, the idea of being YouTube famous is stupid to me. If it happens naturally, that's awesome and well deserved. And I think, people should, not take advantage of that, but enjoy that opportunity when it happens naturally. But if you're trying to make it happen, I think your intentions are in the wrong place. I think you're going to make the wrong videos. And I think people are going to catch on that you're a fake.
Yeah.
And I hate fake people a lot.
Yeah, I think the thing about the comments is like the most important point for me because, I've seen sometimes people have been like, oh, to whatever, like you didn't comment on my video. So for me personally as well, like, I'd like to think everybody's busy. I don't want to have that thing of like, I'm busy, man. Everybody's busy, right? So sometimes, I'll miss a couple videos. As you start doing this more, you get a few more subscribers. You can't keep track of everything. But when I leave a comment, I'm gonna tell you what I liked. I'm gonna go into a few sentences so not that I'm trying to prove it, but just to be like, I really like this part of the video. This is super sick for me to be being creative as well. I'll be like, that intro was killer. Like, I like how weird your stuff is. I don't know, like really getting.
If I take the time to watch the video, I'm gonna take the time to comment on it.
Yeah.
They put the time in on the video. I'm gonna leave something. And you can't watch every video. And I don't think this should be a 1-for-1 community. Oh, you didn't watch my last one, I'm not watching your last one. Hey, cool, man. Like, I'm down with it. Some people upload too much. Like, if you ask me, I would love to follow every channel that I'm subscribed to, and I'm subscribed to a lot. I would love to watch every one of their videos. I can't do 2-3 videos a week from one person. Like, I personally don't have that kind of time in my life. And even I'm very cautious about what I upload. Like, for me, once every 2 weeks, perfect. That is plenty of time to go out, learn something, edit it up without, rushing through it, and get up a video. And if I go a month and I make a video, I'm just as comfortable with that, or 2 months, whatever it is. But I'm cautious of other people's time. I don't want people to feel obligated to watch, and I don't want to upload so much that there's no interest. And really, what am I going to improve in a week? Like 3 videos. If I did 3 videos in a week, you know what you're going to get? Like, me falling for 3 days.
I don't know. I'll probably watch that.
Yeah. That's what I always tell people. Like, you're not watching these videos to watch me land tricks. You're watching for the slams. Like, I think I've said it a couple times on my video. Like, if you're here for great skateboarding, like, you're on the wrong channel. Like, that's not what this is about.
I think I would echo that message of 1-for-1 because I'm learning the whole YouTube thing as well, and I admittedly got kind of stuck into that for a while. And also, I was trying to put stuff out once a week, and kind of like you saying, it starts to become a job. Like, I've got a job outside of all of this. It's like, so I found that where I'm at now, like, I'm starting to find my feet a bit more. I'm going to go live and show how I make a song. Live's the
Yeah.
easiest edit ever because you don't have to edit. So there's
I
that.
think I also think if you make a video that you're proud of,
Yeah.
like you gotta let it sit for a minute,
Mhm.
because if you make another video too quickly, you're gonna step on your own video. People aren't gonna watch the last one because you put up a new one.
Yeah.
So if there's something you made that you're really proud of and you want it to get out there, like if you make a new song or a process of making a song and you put it on there, if you go and do the same thing and upload within 3 days to a week, you no one's gonna see that other video you did. You gotta let it ride a little bit.
Yeah, I think I think that's really good advice because admittedly, I'll sometimes go back through some stuff and just be like, oh man, that was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I did this thing where like ran around the world and like I went to South Korea as well, and I
Yeah.
like go
Love it.
back to that video just to watch the fact that I
Yeah.
was actually skating in South Korea. It's so mind blowing. What
Dude,
the hell?
I made this video in South Korea, like something about how to make a video in 1 day. And it's still like one of my favorite videos and one of my like least viewed videos. But I went there the whole day. It was a voiceover before I started doing the green screen of like packing the bag, getting on the bus, getting on the train, getting to the park, doing a bowl session with these just super rad locals, getting some food, coming all the way
I
home.
think I watched
The
it
editing
actually.
process, like it's like my favorite video and nobody watches it. Yeah, nobody watches it. I put it on the back end of videos all the time. Nobody still clicks on it, you know. But man, I love that video.
Oh man, I was gonna say two things like as a good segue. Number one, the way I actually met you was I did a video question for the Nine Club, which
Yeah,
they put on which they showed on the Nine Club,
yep,
and
that was
then
awesome.
we got talking in the comments, and then
Yeah,
that's how I met you. And then to segue further, found out that you were in South Korea, and I just got back, like
yeah,
I'd been there as well. So I think I was gonna say, first of all, that's community 101, just skateboard community, getting to meet
100%.
people. But more importantly, for people who are watching this, I want to talk a little bit about South Korea. You were there for a long time. I was there
Was
for
there
a
for a
couple of
year.
days, but
Oh, what a great
but
place.
like this is my only travel tips I got from there. Number one,
Yeah.
I learned that you don't really eat by yourself. The culture over
Nope.
there when people go out to eat is a big deal. Like, so I went to this chicken place, got some awesome chicken, but got
Dude,
a
it's the
double
best chicken in the
portion.
world. Like nothing is better than South Korean fried chicken. Like I don't
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders ain't got crap on a South Korean, grandma. Like grandma will outcook Colonel Sanders all day.
But yeah, this dude gave me a double portion. Luckily, the hotel I was at had a fridge, because what I tell people is like, yeah, when you go out to eat, you go with a bunch of people. So when you go by yourself, like what happened
Yeah.
to me, I just got this massive portion of chicken, which
Hell
was,
yeah.
I was like,
Good.
and then I
I'm eating
went,
it
yeah,
all. I'm
yeah.
eating it all at one sitting. That's who I am as a person.
What else? And then I remember that also I went in September. It was so humid. I had to go skating at
Yeah.
like 7 in the morning.
You also have the yellow dust in September. All the pollution from China comes in. It's this really bad yellow dust. It's pretty,
No
it
way.
like gets on your grip tape. It gets everywhere. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
But I absolutely love that year. I think it's just an amazing place. It's the safest place I've ever lived in my life. There's zero crime in South Korea unless it's committed by an American. Um, like just a great place. So many skate parks on my channel on the about tab that nobody ever clicks on, where you can say something about your channel. I have a link there that does an interactive Google map to every skate park in Korea. Um, some of the pictures are outdated when you click on it, but it's still a good guide to like where the skate parks were and what they did look like, and a lot of them have been upgraded. But I used that, found it online, and I just went and tried to find every skate park possible, from Pyeongtaek north. I didn't get south of Pyeongtaek, so I didn't get down to Busan, the southern coast, or any of that. I spent most of my time Pyeongtaek, um, Dongtang, and Seoul, and Uijeonbu, uh, everything around the Han River.
Oh,
And
amazing.
what a great experience that was. And I had a great group of friends. Like that's what I miss the most about South Korea is I had another group of actually my peers that did skateboard that we did all come there for the 1 year and found each other and had, three dudes constantly skated with, and my buddy Norm, which is in a couple of videos. Like Norm, me and him were in the year-long school together, and we didn't know each other in the school at all. And I was going to Korea. He's like, "Hey, I'm in Korea. When you get here, I'll skate with you." And I was like, "Oh, cool, whatever." And I get there, and Norm doesn't even have a skateboard. Norm hasn't been on a board in 35 years. And he was like, "Well, you don't need to travel by yourself. I'll just go everywhere you go." And Norm was just like down from day one, just like, "I'm going to be your travel buddy and it's going to be awesome." And then he got aboard pretty quickly. And man, I spent every Saturday, me and Norm just, let's go find something. Let's go find something to skate. Let's go find some good food. And he just made the year like super awesome to have that experience with somebody else. It was great, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of funny. So the reason why I went there is because my family's in New Zealand at the moment. So because it's so far from London, I like to stop off
Yeah.
somewhere. And
Yeah.
personally, I don't really have an interest in going to India, Thailand, Vietnam. I don't know. It just doesn't rankle with me. So first
I want
time
to go to India. I want to go to India
you
because I
want to
want to
go,
eat street. I want to eat street food. Like I just want to go
nice.
to India and just eat street food. You
But
know.
yeah, the first time I went to Tokyo, and then second time I was like, I'm going South Korea. And it's funny because
Yeah.
everyone was like, why South Korea? And I was like, why not?
It's
And it was
it's
so cool.
it's such a great place. Everyone should take a trip there. If you're ever wondering about taking a skate trip, like go to South Korea. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, I went to the. I've got a T-shirt. I went to the skate shop. The names just escaped me. I've got the T-shirt and everything. But
Okay. Was it in Seoul?
yeah, and so
So it's probably Seoul City Skate Shop.
that's the one.
Yep. Yep. There's two main ones, Seoul City Skate Shop and oh man, the good one. I can't remember. I feel bad. I can't remember the name. Um,
Yeah, like
Savior Skate Shop.
Savior.
Savior. Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
mess
okay.
that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, man, it's gonna feel terrible. Sorry.
No, no,
Savior
you're
Best
good.
Shop.
But do you know a band called Sub Society? Because that was the big skate rock band back in
No, I
those days.
don't. So I grew up in the '90s there. Obviously, Blink 182 was just starting. They were Blink in the neighborhood, and then Unwritten Law. I don't know if you've listened to Unwritten Law.
I know the
Uh,
name.
big
Yeah.
big local band. POD was huge at the time. Stone Temple Pilots. Um, yeah, great music. But for me, it was Rancid. It was Bad Religion. Like that. That was my '90s life. Like that's what I grew up on. Um, Prior to that, like every other kid,
Yeah.
everything from Bon Jovi to NWA, whatever it was, right? Um, but once I got in my groove, it was really Bad Religion was like the first like punk band I listened to. I was like, oh man, that's really good. And this guy's smart. He's saying something. And then Rancid came. I was like, oh man, I really like this. There's like simplicity to it. There's like it's just honest. It's just genuine. Big fan. Both LA bands or excuse me, LA band in East Bay up in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But San Diego wise, like Unwritten Law, I think is probably one of the most underrated bands out there. If you ever get a chance, listen to them. They have an acoustic album too, which is super good, super smart. And then of course, Blink is super huge. I enjoy older Blink, but as a older guy and with the story Angels and Airwaves, Tom DeLonge's other band, is better for me. It's a story, and the albums have purpose, and they have movies, and they have books, and they have comic books
Nice.
that go with them. So he's not just making them music like Love, the album Love, two album is the score to a movie he made called Love by Angels and Airwaves. And if you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube, it's on iTunes. Watch the movie. And
Nice.
when you watch it, know that it's one actor in a spaceship built in someone's yard out of washing machine parts. And it's amazing. And you'll be like, are you kidding me? 450,000 made this movie. It's incredible.
That
And
sounds sick. Yeah.
and then he did Poet Anderson was the next, big album. and that came with a book and comic books. And Poet Anderson is what they call a dream walker. So like if you're dreaming you're having a nightmare, these dream walkers will come in and save you from your nightmare. Well, Poet Anderson was having a nightmare and he became a dream walker through the process. And it's like the Matrix meets anime, the cartoon. Like it's super clean. It's really well done. Like I don't watch any cartoons. Like man, this is really good. But the album's got like an '80s, like new wave, mod type
Oh,
sound
sweet.
to it. More like a Cure sound, and then um, Tears for Fears
Oh,
kind of
cool,
vibe,
cool. Yeah.
more than a punk sound. But man, I love the process that Tom DeLonge himself went through from let's start, Blink with the Buddha. That album came out 6 months after they got together, to becoming a huge superstar, to I'm going to quit that, not be on a label, build my own band with interchangeable parts, minus one other dude, and I'm going to make music that interests me on a whole different level. And he took a lot of shit for it, but he did it his way. And man, I respect the shit out of it. I think it's weird now that he's trying to build a spaceship and meet aliens. Um,
But hey, if you want to do it, I mean,
yeah, if you've got the means, I mean,
yeah.
do it. But no, I think it's awesome that he's doing it his way. I think that's awesome.
Did you see the interview you did with Jenkem magazine on Instagram? I'll have to send it to you. And
I
there's
did not,
footage of
yeah.
it. There's footage of him skating because he was a skater as well.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen all the old footage of him skating with guy Jeremy Sandberg, which was a brother of a friend of mine growing up, and a bunch of stuff. And then I think my wife's brother skated with him when he was younger. My
No
my
way.
wife's my brother-in-law's great skater. Like he skated with Willie Santos and a bunch of guys growing up. Danny Way, like he was good. Like
Amazing.
did a video with him last year. We were both in Kentucky visiting family, and he hadn't been on a board in 16 years.
And he's still
And
ripped, I bet.
man, so he couldn't ollie up the box, but he could pressure flip and kick flip within like 10 tries. I was like, are you kidding me? Like that's amazing. It's just in him.
With Rancid, did you ever listen to Operation Ivy, the band before
Oh
them?
yeah,
Yeah, I love
absolutely.
Operation
Everything
Ivy. Yeah.
everything Tim Armstrong's ever touched is my favorite music. So Operation Ivy, Rancid, and then he released a song every single day for a year on YouTube called Tim Time Bomb, which he did remakes of a bunch of classic punk songs, his songs. He did songs from the 20s, 40s, and 50s acoustic. He did some brand new songs with piano and saxophones. So good. Tim Time Bomb playlist, YouTube,
Yeah.
amazing. And then every song is available to download as well on other places. But man, huge fan. Tim Armstrong. He produced like one of Pink's album, which is really good.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
produced
Yeah.
some Cypress Hill albums that are good. Just really appreciate what he does with Hellcat Records, putting out the last Joe Strummer album. Like
Amazing.
that's what Rancid is, right? At the end of the day, Rancid and Op Ivy was supposed to be a Clash tribute band. Like the
Yeah.
whole purpose of it was to honor the Clash and Joe Strummer, and for him to have those last moments putting out Joe Strummer's last album, which is an amazing album. Um,
So there's a
I dig it.
there's a skate video I think you would like from back in the day. It's called Not the New 8 Street Video. I'll
Okay.
drop you a link and I'll put a link in the description. And
Okay.
half the video is Operation Ivy and half the video is Sub Society, this other
Okay.
San Diego band. And it's just like
Nice.
90s skating, but there's about 5 or 6 Op Ivy songs and about 5 or 6 Sub Society. And I bet if you watch it, you'll probably be like, "Oh, I know that spot. I know that spot."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's Webb Park. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I would. Looking back on it, man, I'm like, oh, I should have never stopped skating. Should have
yeah,
just kept doing it. I would have had a great time. But we all have our own paths, and I think finding skateboarding for me at 41 is probably more important than me skating at 18.
yeah.
I think I get more value out of it going through the process now than I would have if I just did it my whole life, because now it serves a greater purpose. You
Yeah,
know.
I kind of think the same. Like I've had like two paths, which is like been skating all my life and doing music, and obviously I don't do either professionally, but like I'm
Yeah.
kind of stoked with both of them. And I think for
Yeah.
me, what I like about skating the most for me in my position is like, man, I did it. Like, so when I'm at the skate park, I'm telling kids or like pulling out some weird 80s tricks and, you know, just being like, oh, that trick's like named after that dude. Like I'm being the,
Yeah.
you know, being the old man, but you know, I got that knowledge for a reason. I was there, man, when it was like,
Yeah.
when it was really lame to do it. I was still doing it. So I kind of take that as a
Yeah.
badge of honor, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skateboarding definitely goes through recessions, but you know the true skaters they stay with it, you know. But that's why the greats are still the greats, right?
Yeah.
Tony Hawk went through two to three skateboard recessions. Rodney Mullen's been there the whole time. Mike Vallely's been
Hmm.
there the whole time. Eric Costin went through it. Like a lot of these great skaters have stayed with it when it died,
Yeah.
and they found other ways to adapt to it and continue it on. And I think the same with, you know, guys like you that grew up the whole time skating. Yeah, it comes and it goes in waves, but you've been there the whole time. Like I'm not an old school skater, you know, in the sense of been doing it, but like I get it when it goes from summer to winter. So I started skateboarding in the winter in December, and the parks were empty and nobody was there,
Yeah.
and I was able to skate everything. Then summer came and there's a million people, and then I was like, dude, where'd you come from? Like, you weren't here last week. Why are you here now? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get
Yeah.
it. You know, like you didn't. To me, it's like selfishly, you don't deserve to be here in the summer because you weren't here in the winter.
Yeah, no,
You know.
I totally, dude, I was at a football stadium on Friday night, or was it, no, Thursday night with my buddy who's learning to skate, the guy who broke his wrist. And it was the only patch of dry real estate because London's wet and it's really miserable. And
Yeah.
at some point it was like, what are we doing here? We were just having a few beers and just kicking our boards around and in
Yeah.
just a football stadium, just weird. But
That's it.
that's what it
You
was
know, you
all
never know
about.
where it's gonna go to. You never know where it's gonna go down. You know.
Oh man. Yeah, but cool, man. I think that's been totally awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time and
Did we
getting up
hit all
so
the
early.
questions?
Yeah,
Did we
well, we
hit
went
them?
off script, but
Yeah,
I don't
that
care about
happens.
that. I mean, you know, it was like I went to the skate park with a agenda in mind, but then I got there and
Yeah.
we went off script a bit,
Yeah.
so I'm
Sometimes
good.
you just take the trick the session gives you, right? You know.
But
So
it's
you get some music, you get some behavioral health philosophy,
yeah,
you
exactly.
get some exercise workouts and some no real beer talk. So I don't have a good beer. I don't even know what my next beer is for my next video.
Well,
So I
I'm
gotta figure
terrible at
that
beer
out.
talk because
Yeah.
I just like crappy lagers, man. I'm
Well, that's me.
terrible.
Like PBR is my favorite beer, but nobody wants to watch me drink a PBR, you know, every video. So I do use the videos to find new things. You know, I go up to the beer store, which is like 45 minutes away. I go drive out there in the country and I just look for really cool cans and I buy them and I come home and like it's hilarious because I do a beer review without doing a review because I know nothing. I don't know what it's supposed to taste like. I don't know if it's good or it's bad. I'm like, I'd buy that again, or I wouldn't buy that again.
Yeah.
You know, but I've had definitely tried some interesting stuff. That last one with the elderberry was awesome. The Yeti, the chocolate cherry stout. I thought that was going to be way too thick and way too terrible for me, but you know, it was good and it was easy to drink. I was surprised. So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting process. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's good. I appreciate you having me on. I don't know if people are interested in this story or not, but you know, we'll see. You
yeah.
know,
And I can't wait for like anyone the pandemic to be subdued, so we say, and because I travel a lot, and I will definitely be
yeah,
coming to the States, and we will be having a session, and we will be having our crappy lagers together.
yeah, that'd be awesome. I get my vaccine this week, so we'll see how that goes.
Cool,
Yeah.
man. Thanks a lot, Tony, man. I'm just
All
gonna
right, man.